for inspiring children's interest in plants and plant medicines. And to be told, there's many a way to accomplish that. Likewise, there's much the kids can show us adults when it comes to keeping our healing practices both vital and evolving. If this is a conversation that you value, do me the favor of sharing this link on your social and hit that like button. I'd love it if you'd leave me a comment below describing your own experiences with kids and herbs, or tell folks just what there is about a youthful perspective and an attitude that you found most useful in your own life and work. Okay? Now change into those figurative play clothes and let's roll out some ideas. To begin with, you don't have to be a parent for this topic to matter. It's the kids of today that are going to one day become the public officials who work to either support or to criminalize the practice of plant medicine. Any protection or restoration of the natural world is going to hinge on how deeply connected the coming generations feel to the trees, to the herbs, to the animals, somehow still managing to share this finite world. And instilling in children an appreciation of herbal remedies is the best chance of ensuring an alternative and resistance to what would otherwise be a toxic pharmaceutical hegemony. If you are a parent, it's going to feel not only crucial, but personal, a goal that we emotionally invest in, feeling at fault if we fail to impress our offspring with the knowledge that they need to thrive. I feel that ever so intently now as I try to ensure a healthful and a meaningful future for my wee boy, Wolfson. And if you have an income-producing herbal business of any kind, you might also be attached to the hope that your daughters or your sons will learn the craft and carry on a family tradition. At the very least, we likely feel a need for them to understand the potential problems that there are with wantonly prescribed drugs, and to know that there's a natural, less risky, and more restorative way to address most of the different conditions that might, over time, ever afflict them. In either case, what we need is to figure out how to interest and involve the young in something that isn't taught in schools and that is often trivialized or dismissed by current normie society. This unfamiliarity and lack of cultural references can make it more difficult when dealing with teenagers, but it is actually an advantage when working with the ultra-curious and conceptually adventurous 4 to 12-year range. So let's talk about these first. Encourage the youngins. Encourage them in meeting plants that are new to them and in becoming their friends. Regularly give them simple lessons about the ways that herbs are used and what conditions they're most often recommended for. Whenever they don't feel good, help them guess which plants and actions might make things better for them. Have them try to recognize plants or effects and actions blindfolded or through taste or smell. Validate their creation of stories around the plants and their uses. Be supportive of allegory. Portray the path of healing as a fairy tale worthy quest. Allow for personalization, including kids making up their own special names for the various species. Try inventing herb-themed songs that you can sing with them. Have them draw or paint the plants as a way to get familiar with their colors, their parts, their shapes. Teach them what the various parts of each plant do. Help them press plants that they learn about and then display them in an herbarium book of their very own. Teach basic anatomy, human anatomy, with art and naming the organ games. Provide durable magnifying glasses for them to use. Take them outside to engage the plants in their own habitat, be it a garden, a park, or a public forest. Have the kids pick a plant patch or a single tree in a yard or park for them to personally adopt and have some interaction with, or even responsibility for. Equip them. Equip them to grow either a row in your garden or even a single potted herb that they can tend and become friends with in the house. Of course, teens are another matter. Some obstacles with them include the fact that they're painfully aware of how herbalism is often associated with older people, that they've heard it slammed as flaky New Age foolishness. The key is not just to encourage their studies, but to up the cool factor, showing them the ways that natural healing is relevant, funky, contemporary, and fun. It's natural for young women and men to want to distinguish themselves from their parents and from other adults for that matter, and to each find their own way. So instead of hoping that they'll follow in your footsteps, how about presenting plant medicine as an optional tool that they can choose, and then inspire them to find their own styles, their own paths of perceiving and ways of practicing. Get them to talk about plant energies and communication, and to figure out what particular plant might be their most significant and personal ally. Relate the various plants to their historic and their mythic folklore. Talk about their use as symbols, as icons and heralds. Talk about how a healer's abilities can be an important element of their self-chosen roles and missions. Discuss natural healing in terms of increasing agency, in terms of self-empowerment, self-exploration, and self-care. Discuss its being egalitarian, being accessible to the marginalized, accessible to the impoverished, and being essentially unstoppable by any external authority. Encourage their exploration of and their familiarity with their own bodies, sensations, and processes. Ask them how often that they're feeling bad. Ask them how they feel right now. Ask them what it means to feel well. Ask them about how certain foods, sensations, situations, and medicines make them feel. Suggest that they create a healing journal, recording their impressions of the plants that they use and feel connected to, as well as recording their daily experiences and their revelations around how they feel, their emotional states and their spirits, as well as their ailing or thriving bodies. Try providing a microscope for fascinating up-close examination. Let them attend some client assessments that you do, inviting their own observations and thoughts. If you sell herbal products, pay your teens to help them with the process of making them. Create opportunities to share what they've learned with younger kids or other teens. This will help to strengthen their connections, help to strengthen their convictions and their self-confidence. Support their desire for plant-themed jewelry, for room decorations, for clothing or tattoos on their body. Whether we're talking about cheeky toddlers or independent-minded young adults, we need to avoid anything that makes it feel like something's being forced on them, or anything that makes them feel guilty about what they don't do or don't know. It opens things up and takes the pressure off when you make sure that they know that plants are not the only possible medicines, and that there are additional ways that they can help to mend and make more whole the world around them. Years ago, I created a book for young girls titled, I'm a Medicine Woman Too. Written when my then 8-year-old daughter Inga was suffering from toxic self-doubt. It showcases a few of the other ways that a kid can be a healer, agent, and artist of what truly matters to them. And here's the bonus blessing to all that. Inspiring and equipping the young like this is almost certain to inspire us further as well. Seeing kids' excitement over some new botanical species is going to get us more excited. They set a fine example for us by being unable to resist actually touching, smelling, tasting, and conversing with the different plants that they meet. Their obsessive curiosity stokes our own valuable experimentation and deep wondering, and their unbridled delight is very likely to rekindle the joy and the satisfaction that we felt when we initially got into this healing work. Same thing with older kids. Seeing a teen boldly exploring new ways and forms of healing is a great reminder not to get too trapped in long-standing assumptions and conventions, methods, or protocols. We do well to emulate the youth's resistance to injustice and the resistance to unfair regulation, and how bravely teens let their own unique colors shine. It's inspiring when they approach being a healer, not so much as a job, but approach it as character development, as a worthy mission, as an epic, heroic story that they want to both live and then tell. The bottom line is that piquing the interests of the young is going to help us to keep things fresh and interesting for ourselves, with unfolding generations working together to heal the wounds of unwhole bodies and spirits, the wounds of our culture and our planet. This heartful plant-driven practice is for us to enjoy and to share, not to hide, as we come to embrace and unleash the kid inside.
Thank you, Wolves and Pavlo Wolf.